The BRICS alliance, originally made up of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has long been seen as a powerful bloc representing emerging economies across several continents. These 5 nations, each with their own unique strengths and challenges, have worked together to amplify their voices on the world stage and push for reforms in global governance. Now, the alliance has just expanded in a historic move, officially welcoming Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates into its fold. This marks a significant turning point for the group, as it opens its doors to new regions and perspectives. With these additions, BRICS more than doubles its membership, dramatically increasing its economic and geopolitical influence. The expanded group now covers a vast geographic area, stretching from Latin America and Africa to the Middle East and Asia, and brings together a diverse set of resources, markets, and cultures. BRICS Plus now represents an enormous share of the world's population and economic output, positioning itself as a powerful and unified voice for the global South. This coalition aims to address the needs and aspirations of developing nations that have often felt sidelined in international decision-making. The group's overarching goal is to create a more multipolar world order, challenging the dominance of Western-led institutions like the IMF and World Bank. By doing so, BRICS Plus hopes to foster a fairer, more balanced global system. For many developing nations, BRICS offers new opportunities for funding, investment, and partnerships, often without the political conditions that typically accompany Western aid. This alternative can be especially attractive for countries seeking greater autonomy in their development paths. However, the diversity within the group, ranging from democratic India to oil-rich Saudi Arabia, means that forging consensus and unity will not be easy. Each member brings its own priorities, political systems, and economic interests to the table. If BRICS Plus can overcome its internal differences and work together effectively, it has the potential to reshape the landscape of global trade, finance, and diplomacy for decades to come. The rules of global engagement are being rewritten by this much larger, more diverse coalition of countries, signaling a new era in international relations and cooperation. While the European Union remains closely tied to the United States, both economically and politically, there is a growing sense among some leaders that relying solely on traditional Western partnerships may no longer be enough in today's rapidly changing world. As a result, several EU member states are now actively exploring closer ties with BRICS nations, seeing this as a way to diversify their alliances and reduce overdependence on any single bloc. The rise of China as a global powerhouse, combined with growing frustration over what some perceive as Western rigidity and inflexibility, has made the BRICS group increasingly attractive to European policymakers searching for new opportunities. For these countries, BRICS represents not just a political alternative, but also a gateway to fast-growing markets, fresh investment, and vital partnerships, especially in critical sectors like energy, technology, and infrastructure development. This shift isn't about abandoning the West altogether. Rather, it's about expanding Europe's options and building resilience in an increasingly complex and unpredictable global landscape. Closer ties with BRICS could open the door to exciting new business opportunities and collaborations, but they also come with risks, potential new dependencies, and the possibility of heightened political tensions with long-standing Western allies. Ultimately, the debate now facing Europe is about its future direction. Should it remain anchored to the old order, or adapt to a world where alliances are more fluid, overlapping, and dynamic than ever before? Turkey's long, frustrating bid to join the EU has spanned decades, marked by repeated setbacks and growing skepticism. This ongoing struggle has pushed the country to seek out new alliances and opportunities beyond Europe. Disillusioned with the West, Ankara is now eyeing BRICS as a platform for greater autonomy, economic growth, and increased regional influence. As a NATO member, Turkey's potential BRICS entry would be unprecedented, balancing East and West and leveraging its unique geopolitical position. This strategic pivot could significantly boost Turkey's economy and open new markets for its industries. However, it may also strain Turkey's already complicated ties with Europe and the US, creating new diplomatic challenges. For Turkey, joining BRICS is a high-stakes gamble, one that could ultimately redefine its global identity and future direction. Hungary, led by Viktor Orban, has become the EU's maverick, often clashing with Brussels and pursuing closer ties with Russia and China. Orban sees BRICS as a club of sovereign states, an appealing alternative to EU oversight. For Hungary, joining BRICS would diversify its economic partnerships and assert its independence, but would also create friction within the EU and NATO. The move could bring economic benefits, like cheaper energy and new investments, but risks political isolation and loss of EU funds. Hungary's flirtation with BRICS reflects a national debate, deeper Western integration, or a new path between East and West. The stakes are high for Hungary's future direction. For Turkey and Hungary, BRICS offers access to vast markets, investment, and a bigger voice on the world stage. The new development bank provides funding without the strings attached by Western institutions. BRICS membership could boost their geopolitical stature and allow them to push for global reforms. But joining comes with risks backlash from NATO and EU allies, possible sanctions, and diplomatic isolation. There's also the danger of getting caught in BRICS' own internal rivalries, especially between India and China. Instead of gaining autonomy, new members could find themselves trading one set of dependencies for another. The decision is a complex calculation of rewards versus real geopolitical dangers. European nations joining BRICS would challenge the group's identity as a voice for the global South. Existing members may question whether these newcomers share their vision or are just using BRICS as leverage against the West. Integrating European legal and economic standards could create friction within BRICS. Treaty obligations to NATO or the EU could directly conflict with BRICS interests, making consensus difficult. The West would likely see this as a threat, deepening global divides. For BRICS to succeed, it must evolve, strengthening conflict resolution and consensus building to manage its diversity. The integration of European members will test whether BRICS can truly become a global alternative. The expansion of BRICS signals a major shift in global power as emerging economies come together to challenge the established order. This alliance is not just about economic cooperation, but about reshaping the very foundations of international influence and decision-making. It directly challenges the post-Cold War dominance of the US, which has long set the tone for global politics and economic systems. BRICS Plus is pushing for a more multipolar world, where no single nation or bloc holds all the cards, and where power is more evenly distributed among diverse players. In this new era, alliances are fluid, and countries increasingly pursue multi-alignment, seeking to maximize their own interests by engaging with multiple partners. Nations can now be security partners with the US, benefiting from its military alliances and strategic support, while simultaneously being economic partners with China, tapping into its vast markets and investment opportunities. This creates a complex web of interests, where economic, political, and security considerations are deeply intertwined and constantly shifting. For the West, this means accepting that their model is no longer the only option on the table, and that alternative visions for global governance are gaining traction. Responding with hostility or resistance could backfire, potentially isolating traditional powers and fueling further division. Instead, cooperation and reform are needed to address shared challenges like climate change, economic inequality, and global security threats. BRICS must prove it can offer more than just opposition to the status quo. It needs to build a compelling alternative that delivers real benefits, fosters innovation, and promotes sustainable development. The choices made by leaders and nations now will shape whether the future is defined by confrontation, competition, or genuine cooperation. For ordinary people everywhere, these shifts will impact jobs, prices, opportunities, and security, reshaping daily life in ways both visible and unseen across the globe.